Hello, everyone, and welcome back to State of the Realm. I think that's the most apt introduction I could possibly do. We're taking a bit of a break since, well, we did have one more show planned for last month, but our guest was unavailable for quite some time. We'll be getting around to doing that show in the next month or so. But next patch news round is coming on up, and so we are booting back up. For that, you're going to need a couple of hosts. I'm one of them, of course, Mr. Happy, and of course, joining me is Sly, who I saw a few days ago, actually, but it still feels like it's been forever. How you doing, Sly?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I can't see. I know that this is a 14 podcast, but realistically, the V and the I have been swapped for me pretty much the entire week.
Oh yeah, I know.
So I've got a little bit of brain rot when it comes to talking about Final Fantasy 14. Because it is not where my brain is. Oh, man. Oh, Sly and I played a game of Betrayal on the House on the Hill the other day. That was the last interaction that we had, I think, in the past month or so.
Yep.
And, Sly and I were both... Sly, of course, first person to die like every multiplayer game I play with him.
Yeah, pretty much. I danced myself to death.
At least we were on the same team when it happened this time, and I wasn't the one who inherently killed you.
I mean, technically you were, since you were the first one to...
I didn't go after you, though. I went after the other people. I wasn't the one who did the haunt.
I mean, by proxy, I died because you became a traitor.
That's not true at all. I had no direct influence on... Anyway, we'll settle this next time we play, when I am the killer and I do kill you on purpose. Okay?
There you go.
That way you can... I'll let you have that. Ooh, I actually had a little bit of a coffee spill here. It was a little fuller than I thought it was. That's fine. But man, does it feel good to have a show to do again? I miss doing these.
Yeah, it does. I know.
It's like a hangout.
Well, the thing is, we had, 6.1, and so much so it was spread out. Like, things happened, but it was just not at the same time.
It's not even just that. It's the most major topics for 6.1. We never got to do a 6.1 story show. That is one of the shows that we are planning on doing before 6.2. But other than that, I mean, 6.1 releases, and we all know that 0.1 is usually kind of the toughest patch for every expansion cycle. I think a lot of people kind of forget that because it usually looks pretty substantial, especially when there's an ultimate involved, new extreme trial, the new 24-man, the first step in a new story after a decade-long, story unfold. There was a lot to digest in there, but it was something that in terms of doing shows, you realistically get a show about the patch, a show about the story, a show about Ultimate, maybe 2 shows about Ultimate, and then you're kind of back to needing to kind of make up shows or retread shows that you've done in the past or maybe haven't done in a while, such as like a job discussion or something of that capacity. So we simply did the shows that we felt were most necessary, and we agreed we don't want to do shows that we don't think are necessary in the given moment.
Very true. We don't like filler shows. We like a filler episode of anime.
We used to like
fillers. We did. We did. But now we got that out of our system.
When's the beach episode, kind of a good thing. Sly, for filler episodes? When's the hot spring episode?
I don't know.
Some point.
It's funny. It's funny you say this because, and this is one of the topics for today, data center travel. It's funny because the live letter for it is that Friday. My birthday celebration, my birthday's on the 3rd, but my birthday celebration is on Saturday. And data center travel comes out that next Tuesday, which I was predicting it would be the last week of June, but I was off by a week.
Yeah.
Which to be fair, it's good and bad. Good because bad because, not everybody can come to the birthday event if you don't have an alt. It's good because if you did come to the birthday event, and there were some issues with data center travel, you wouldn't be stuck on Primal.
Yeah, they definitely don't want that. Take it from me. You definitely don't want that. For one reason or another. Oh, man. But yeah, we have quite a few topics we're going to be taking today to catch up a little bit on some of the things that have happened in 6.1 in the community since, the last time that we did a show. We've got some predictions to do on the next live letter, some expectations of things we'll probably see, and I'm sure we'll go off on a tangent or two as we tend to do. But before we do that, the show is, of course, sponsored. Nobody emails me and says, hey, sponsor this show. But we know it is every time, because SteelSeries sponsors the show. They've had a ton of new stuff. They've had their new Arctis line. I'm using the Arctis Nova Pro right now, their new headset line. And they just released their 60% keyboard, a mini. People have been asking for that for ages. So the Apex Pro Mini, if you're someone who likes the more compact keyboards, is also available. We still aren't doing giveaways with them just because we just started the show back up. But for the July show, we will be doing a giveaway for the month of July. So please look forward to that. That'll start at the live letter show when we do the live letter State of the Realm. So thank you to them for sponsoring. And thank you to everyone on Patreon who sponsors. They don't have to. They don't get anything out of it. They just choose to. And we appreciate that. So thank you to them. Nothing else really to say there.
Yeah.
So Sly, 6.1 has been out for 2 months at this point.
Yes.
That was a fast 2 months. I don't know about you, but that was a fast 2 months.
And time has gone by really quickly.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy to think of, but at the same time, it's just because I'm still brain rotted from DSR. I feel like I never got my sense of time back after the 2 weeks we spent in DSR. I got to admit, if I was one of the groups who is still at like that precipice of clearing right now, I know Todd is on the verge of clearing. I know Sam just cleared, Clarissa just cleared. I would be losing my fucking mind right now. I would hate seeing Thornton and Nidstinian and those stupid knights if I was 2 months into Prague, even at 3 days a week, 3 hours a day. It hurts to even think about Sly. This Ultimate has done things to people. Sly. Yeah, I needed to get that out there.
Why does it sound like a Vietnam flashback?
Because it is. It's like you just got on the plane and flew home, but you haven't forgotten yet. That's essentially what this fight has been doing to people. Sly, I have been watching the conversation. 6.1, lot of really positive things. DSR, people who have cleared it and who cleared it in the first couple of weeks, a lot of really positive things. The late comers that are just getting through it now they are glad to be done more than anyone else in the world. It is such just a trek through the mud and the swamp and the trenches, I suppose, for the analogy. It's so real, Sly. You dodge. This is why you don't do. This is why you just do your once a week raid and live.
And I'm happy.
And yeah, no, well,
I'm happy.
And I am.
Stop it.
We haven't done that joke in a while, so.
God.
No, happy is the name. So yeah, that's the biggest thing, I think. I think if we asked a lot of people, I almost want to do a show where we get the people who beat it 2 months down the line and ask them how they feel about DSR. Not the people who beat it first like we normally do or beat it quickly. Mm-hmm. We need the people who spent 2 to 2.5 months just going through that and just give them a place to unwind. It might be a show idea sometime.
Like a DSR support group?
Yeah, exactly. Like a DSR support group. I bet if they heard that right now, they'd be like, please, I want to talk so bad. It's an AA meeting for DSR people. Yeah. And you know what? The only reason that's even on my mind side is I filled for a group last night just to help them practice. They had a trial, so one of their members couldn't make it. And I was trying to learn their strats versus the way that I did it. And I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. It was literally just like, it's all coming back to me. The glory is mine. The power is mine. Hi, my name's Kyle. I've heard them so many times. I don't want to be here right now. It's just, oh no. So that's been one thing that's been going on for the past 6 weeks. People have still been trekking through DSR. But otherwise, the patch has stagnated in the way that I think most of us who have been around a long time are used to. But the people who haven't been around a long time are figuring out for the first time ever. I don't know how you've been handling 6.1, or at least how often you log in, or what contents you're largely doing or kept up with. But what does your 6.1 look like for the most part?
I mean, for the most part right now, Hippo dailies, weekly stuff, so everybody's looking forward to Emeliant because you're fucking degens.
Mommy?
Stop it.
Sorry.
God. That just the usual rigmarole, honestly. Like, it's really business as usual for me. Like, nothing's really too out of the ordinary, just waiting on 6.2. Venue hopping, whatnot.
Yeah, at least you participate in the RP nightlife. So you have a little more going on, I think, than the people who play for the content like myself. I like to tune in for tunes occasionally in the background, but I never go to the venues. I'm like, well, why would I go to the venue? I just want to hear the music. I'm here to bump. I am the kind of guy who would go to the club and just sit there and just be like this the whole time.
Just vibe. Yeah. And that's what some people do. A lot of people do is just, they go to venues and just vibe. And that's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, really, it was more of a kind of necessity that 2020 created more than ever. Like, it's been out for, like, venues have been out for ages, but 2020 definitely necessitated it.
2020 and all the years after at this point. Pretty much. Have you felt that the rigmarole is any more or less encouraging, or I guess not encouraging? Are you as involved in the average rigmarole after Endwalker's finale as you would find yourself normally being? Has your routine worn with 6.1, with the longer patch cycle, which, we have a presumably 2 weeks more. We don't know exactly when the next patch is coming out yet, or 0.2 at the very least.
Yeah, not any more out of the ordinary than normal. When you get into these long patch cycles, and like it says, becomes your daily rigmarole. After that, really, what is there to do? Like, if you are a crafter gatherer, you probably getting ready for 6.2, probably already ready for 6.2, getting materia and whatnot and scripts. Finally, like, one thing I did do was, because I wasn't finished with my pentamelds, and I just had to do that for like 3 crafters because I just did it and lost a bunch of materia. So did maps, got some money, finished them. So I'm good to go until 6.2. Even got a little bit of materia stacked, so I'm good in that front. But yeah, other than that, like, it's even when you finish your daily, weekly rigmarole, there's other shit to do outside of 14. And I think that's what a lot of players kind of did. If you weren't doing DSR, then you had other shit to do. You had plenty of other shit to do. I mean, people are getting ready for Sunbreak and other shit that's coming out. Yeah, it's nothing we haven't seen before. And I wouldn't even call it this cycle, this right now, a lull. Because it's not really a lull, I think. It's not like the patch lulls we see between expansions, or like the patch lull after Heaven's Ward point 0. It's nothing like that. I mean, there's still stuff to do, but even then, outside of that, there's other stuff you want to do. So it's kind of like, it's probably one of the best places we've been so far with, freedom in terms of content, in terms of what you want to do.
Yeah, as someone who basically did everything I could possibly do in Shadowbringers because of the 5.3 lull, when, you know, that took an extra several months to come out, I definitely have exhausted a lot more of those options, and I'm in the process of waiting for 0.2, 0.3, where we normally get the stuff you can spam more. Content that's just massively repeatable, especially the relics. I'm gonna build every relic again this expansion, most likely, like I did the last expansion. I made like over 100 million gil. I mean, I made over 100 million gil making my relics, so I'm more than motivated to do that. You know, so I'm hoping there's some decent options for that again, but we'll touch upon that in a little bit. For my routine, it's really just been, you know, hippos at this point. I am up to date with Emeliance despite my disdain for crafting and gathering. Yeah. No, I just do the gathering. I just do the gathering. That's something I don't mind.
Do the gathering?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just hit up the mining nodes. There you go. It takes 2 seconds to do. It's like no effort whatsoever. So,
I mean, to be fair, the crafting, like in the beginning for Emeliance, is no effort whatsoever.
Yeah, but that would involve crafting, so I don't want to do that.
Oh my god.
Gathering, I don't mind. But I'm not into crafting. It's just not. The only way I get my crafters and gatherers level this expansion is the beast tribe.
The
tribal dailies, yeah. Gotta get used to calling them tribal dailies. Yeah, I've deliberately saved them for that. I saved combat jobs for the combat dailies. I've saved crafters and gatherers for the craft and gather. Because last expansion I did it all before they came out, and it took me forever to go back and get them done. I just had no interest in doing it, or I didn't have enough of an overlapping interest to do it. And then with the Keykurns, I could gather like 100 of every item, and then just whatever quest they asked me for, I would just turn it in. I was just like, oh, I'll probably do that for this one too. I'll probably just mass gather them in advance. And then as the dailies come in, you just toss them in to the NPC. Triple Triad cards, I'm mostly caught up with as well. I'm staying caught up on those. I'm not letting that slip again.
You are a good one for that one. Because like another thing I started to do was while it was relevant, make it rain, like MGP. Even though I plumped down a lot of MGP for some housing stuff for the birthday event, even still, like I was doing more MGP stuff than I ever done, I think.
I kept up with it for like the first week, and then I was like, I don't care. If I need MGP for something in the future, then that'll be content for me in the future. So I'll just you know, grab the mini crackpot and jumbo crackpot and do my fashion report and call it. I just can't stand doing the chocobo races, especially. That's a challenge log that drags. It's too many races, 20 races, and if you don't win 10 of them, you have to do more.
Racing.
Yeah.
And then Vermilion's easy. I just do the one with the
he splits that in 60 seconds. That's whatever. I do that every time. Every time I ever care. But then keeping up with Unreal, that's always, of course, on my list to do. I got those minions that sell for like 6 to 7 million gil.
Oh boy.
So much money.
Yeah, I'm getting up there in leaves. Yeah, I'm keeping the leaves for the next Unreal, and then just pop that and make some money.
Do the same thing. I need to spend some now because mine are about to cap. But I literally patch dropped. I bought the Unreal mount for 6.1, 20 million gil, sold in like less than 20 minutes. And it should not have sold for 20. I was like, some people were like, why didn't you try to get it for more? And I was like, I don't know. This mount is not worth 20 million gil, so let me just get the 20 million gil. So I'm going to do the same thing in 6.2, unless it's a mount I really like, then I might keep it for myself. But even then, I should really just sell it and get the next one. So, especially given all the extreme trial mounts that I have to get to 99 totems for. I get my Zodiark mount next patch. Woohoo!
Woo!
6.1 has been it's been exactly as I expected. I know as a whole, like you said, getting ready for Sunbreak. You know, Elden Ring came out before, and I'm still playing it occasionally now. There's been a bunch of other little releases.
Randomizer.
I love the randomizer so much. I'm on my
I have to
seed.
Try it.
I'm on my third seed.
I have to try it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So what I've been doing is every seed, whatever I use in the previous seed, I can't use it if I find it in the next one. So I can't just, like, if I find this god tier weapon early game, I can just be like, well, this is over. I need to find a different god tier weapon. And that hasn't been hard. My second seed, I started with one of the best weapons in the game, so I just played through the whole game with that. Now I can't use that weapon again. Thank you, Lazuli Glintstone Sword. Big fan. Big fucking fan. But now, I mean, one thing that's also really helped is, fortunately, the lull of patch 6.1 kind of hit during game season. Not E3 season as it is this year. I like how people, instead of calling it Summer Game Fest, people resorted to calling it not E3 season.
Not E3.
It's like Jeff Keighley's like, yeah, it's called Summer Game Fest. They're like,
no, it's not.
It's not E3 season.
It's not E3.
Sorry.
Not E3.
Yeah, it's just not E3 season. A lot of companies that we're watching didn't show up to Summer Game Fest. So, and of course, we've got some really exciting news. I know one of the most exciting ones for you is probably Dragon's Dogma 2, which we expected to find out news about. I don't think anyone thought it wasn't happening.
The way that happened is so funny because I made a bet with Koga. I'm like, Koga, it's not gonna come up during the Capcom presser. I promise you, it's not gonna come up. And when the Capcom presser hit, hey, remember Dragon's Dogma? Yeah, we do too. We're doing an anniversary event for it. Okay, bye.
Yep.
And then, like, of course he lost the bet. And then a few days later, during the anniversary event, they formally announced it. I'm like, okay, yeah, that has to be so fucked that you lost the bet because they didn't do it on that day and they did it a couple days later. You have to be so fucked.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because you got to remember the guy who worked on Dragon's Dogma is the guy working on 16, the combat director. So they have a different combat director for that now. Not that Capcom has a shortage of combat directors. They have a wide array of talent in combat direction. So
yeah,
I'm not concerned, but it is interesting because I wonder if Suzuki's working on 16. Like, yo, can I go back? Can I go back now? Am I done, Yoshi P? I want to work on that now too. Please. It was my baby. I did it the first time. I know I'm excited about that. There was actually a lot of pretty exciting things at this not E3, but they all overlapped in terms of anyone who's interested in one kind of got blown away with a bunch of the same thing. I am looking at you, space horror games more than anything else. Space games in general, yeah.
Space.
Yeah. And then everyone else kind of was just like looking for the pieces in between. Few new game show, a few new shows to actually watch, including the OTK special, which I don't know if anyone's seen Donkey's video. In the first minute of that, he dunks on them so hard. Who are these Twitch streamers pretending to like games? Go watch Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's thing. It's like, goddamn, that direct Asmon call out. That shit was cracking me the fuck up. It was so funny. Donkey still cracks me up all these years later. Anyway, that's how our 6.1 has been occupied up till this point. DSR, PTSD, and occupying ourselves in other ways. But we are finally starting to wind up to the next content in the next several weeks. July 1st, there is a live letter. July 5th is patch 6.18. And while the live letter is exciting, patch 6.18 is, I think, what most people have their eyes on. Because it is the long-awaited introduction of data center travel.
Man, they couldn't have done it the week before. Fuck.
But then what if it didn't work and everyone got stranded on Primal, Sly?
I mean, that's true, but damn. I was like, yeah. And we were trying to, like, I was talking to people in my FC and we were timing it. Like, yeah, it should be around this time. But that was a week off. Fuck.
It was a reasonable time to guess, I feel, but yeah, just barely in the wrong direction. Sorry, drop something.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I dropped something else. This is falling apart. Listen, I've had the podcast put together, but I don't have me put together. All right, so just as much of a problem, I suppose. So data center travel coming out with patch 6.18 can travel between data centers in your own region. And you can use pretty much all the contents there outside of things you would normally not be able to use while you're visiting. You also can't use any sort of cross-world link shell that you had back on the previous data center because those people aren't there. So there's a few more things you're limited to, but otherwise it's going to be a lot like just traveling to another world in terms of content. You are going to have to do it from the main screen when you log in, not from the Aetheryte in town. But this is something people have said they've been waiting for years, and I wonder what the actual plan most people have is to use it for. You have a very easy to identify use for it. It's just like you said, it's a few days too late for the most immediate reason. But I have to wonder how people who host community events are planning for the idea that there may be a few more people in attendance. Because that's got to be a little nerve-wracking, I imagine.
I mean, it makes it easier. One, you don't have to have an alt. Two, it's your character, and you have all the stuff you normally have. All your emotes, all your glamour, everything. So I would say for stuff that's already been in the works for quite a few organizers, it's pretty much business as usual. They're expecting more people. But to kind of centralize things, I think what a lot of people would do is just keep the events they already had planned on their home data center or whatnot. So, like, if I were to plan my birthday, it'd still be on Primal. It'd still be at the FC house. I would imagine for something like LunarCon, it would still be on Crystal. That's where it was last year. They have no reason to change it whatsoever, and other things like that. But moving forward, I can see more locale, like NA style events happening across the data centers than I would just, an individual like Crystal event or Primal event or Aether event. Yeah, it would take place on all three, and you can go anywhere you want.
Yeah, because the biggest problem that's going to be for community events is too many attendance. It's probably the one main concern I think that anyone would have is people getting locked out, or a housing ward maybe going down, or maybe being locked out, people can't participate.
Crash the ward.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong, the pros far outweigh the cons, but that is one specific group that probably has to consider. Anyone running a community event can't just be like, great, there has to be some sort of extra planning phase that goes in, contingencies or potential VIP lists or things like that to try and ensure that the people who they want to come can actually come. So that's definitely going to be an aspect of it. But overall, statics play across data centers, being able to join just, somebody needs a fill for something for this raid. Oh, great. My character on Aether, I'll just hop over to Primal real quick and help you out. And then I'm getting the fuck out of Primal because I don't want to be here. And
what is with your disdain for fucking Primal?
I just had a lot of anecdotally bad experiences there, Sly. Anecdotally, okay? I admit it's anecdotally bad, but it doesn't change the fact that it happened, okay? That's it. Anyway, I wonder how that's. I'm very curious to see it play out. But that's not even the only thing happening server-wise. So the other thing happening is the first phase in the next year or so of server restructuring or server opening and data center restructuring. First, it's going to be starting with Europe and Japan. Europe is going to be getting 4 new worlds that are going to be placed on each of 2 on Chaos, 2 on Light. And Japan is going to have their new logical data center set up, which is eventually going to have about an equal amount of worlds across everything. NA should be getting its first phase in August, if memory serves as well. And this is to combat situations like what we had at the start of Endwalker, where they just felt the setup they had was inadequate. So this is to get everything smoothed out and set into place for 7.0's launch, which will theoretically be as stressful on their resources as this one was. But they'll be better prepared for it at the very least. I don't know if I haven't really heard anyone talking about this too much yet. They just kind of acknowledge that it's happening and just waiting, I suppose. There's not really much else to go with that. 6.18 has a couple other things that we should expect. Savage Unlock is definitely among them. I really didn't think they'd unlock Savage and introduce data center travel in the same fucking day. And I suspect Ether will be very busy that day. So I got one thing to say about this. If you're coming from another data center,
okay,
and your strats are dog shit, right? Not saying anyone in particular, you know. Just,
here we go.
And you come to another data center, do not bring your strats with you. Leave them at the door. Okay? We understand that, everyone? Not any data center in particular. And if you have your data center and their strats, and you go someplace else, don't bring your strats with you. Unless it's the same strats that server data center is using. Just shut the fuck up and do what the party leader says to do. Okay?
I can agree with that. That I can agree with.
Yeah. If you join a party and it's not a strat that you're used to, too fucking bad. You join another party. Join another party or make your own. And if you make your own, don't use your shit fucking strats from your data center. Okay? Elmo, specifically. Don't do that. Don't use that. Primal. Stop. Anyway. So, there is one other thing in 6.18 that we're expecting, and that is Season 2 of the wait, it's not the feast anymore. Crystalline Conflict. Listen, I've had like 5 years. I've had 4 or 5 years of saying the feast, but now it's Crystalline Conflict. I'm just used to calling it the feast. Of our second season of Crystalline Conflict, of PvP. And we've got some information about that is interesting, to say the least. Sly, did you read what they said they're doing for your ranking at the start of the next season?
I have not.
They're going to downrank you 5 ranks and 0 risers. So that means that if you were Crystal, you'd be starting at Diamond 5 and would not be able to go below Diamond for the next season unless you don't climb. If you don't climb, then the next season you would go down to Gold 1, I believe. And then that's how they're going to be deranking people who don't play between seasons. So if you skip a season, you end up way, way down. If you skip too many seasons, you got to start from scratch again. It's, I don't really know exactly if this is the way. I think they might need to downrank people a little more than 5 ranks because all the Crystal players are going to be in Diamond, and Diamond players already play with Crystal anyway. It's basically going to be like...
Yeah.
They're all going to stay at the top if they just play.
Right.
And don't get me wrong. The people in Bronze, Silver, and Gold who cannot get out of Bronze, Silver, and Gold probably going to stay in Bronze, Silver, and Gold. I mean, the queues of Bronze, Silver, and Gold are going to be okay. Platinum also probably. But I don't know yet if this is an adequate amount of deranking every 2 months or so to keep all of the ranks populated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just unsure if this is the play or not. If this is a good play or not. Or if it's all the way as far as I need to go.
I mean, I kind of agree with you. I think they should dial it back a little bit more. I would say to Platinum. I'd be okay with Platinum. Yeah. As a starting point. If you got the Crystal... I mean, we all did the climb. So
where did you end up at, speaking of which? Because I know Crystal. You got all the way to Crystal. Wow, I missed that.
Yeah.
I when I last watched, you were on Platinum. So I missed a lot of streams.
I was in Platinum Hell for about a week and a half.
Yeah, that's why I was watching. I was like, he's been in Platinum. Yeah. I mean, then again, I spent 2 weeks inside of DSR, so I lost all track of exactly where everyone was.
Yeah, so I was in Platinum Hell for about a week and a half, and then there was like one good day that I got like from the bottom of Platinum to Diamond, and then it just took 1 day for me to get out of Diamond to
fucking happened to me too. That's what fucking did. I got stuck in Platinum for like 2-3 days, and then I blasted through it one day, and the next day I blasted through Diamond. It was the exact fucking same thing. It was so good. Gold was my easiest climb though. I got into Gold on a streak from Silver, and I never lost all the way through Gold. So That was easily the best streak, but the diamond streak was the one that I wanted the most.
Yeah.
There'll probably be some balance changes too, which should make the next season interesting.
Oh, thank fucking God.
I mean, that doesn't mean you're gonna like the balance changes, Sly.
Okay. They've had a season. They've had an entire fucking season to adjust things. An entire fucking season.
Yeah.
And they did. There were certain adjustments. After the full season, you would think they would look at shit like through a finer scope, so to speak. Happy, have you noticed with every PvP patch note, you see all these changes.
Yeah.
You see all these, things.
Yeah.
After the first PvP changes.
Okay.
You want to know what job didn't get any more changes?
The one that's already one of the best jobs in PvP?
It's not perfect.
It sure is hell better than most other jobs, I'll tell you that.
It's not perfect. It is not
what
perfect.
Would you give Dragoon? Dragoon is one of the most consistent PvP.
Fucking stun.
They'd be broken. That's it. They would be broken if they got a stun.
No.
Yes. They're so good. They don't need a stun.
See, the thing is, when you I'm not even saying overtune. When you tune everything to the point where it completely overshadows a job, and I mean, I wouldn't say everything, like completely overshadows it, but they're better.
No, Dragoon, I would take a Dragoon on my team consistently over
any improvements from the beginning of fucking Crystal Conflict. What the fuck? You overtune the shit out of fucking Black Mage, and then they become,
I can't
and you see just a bunch.
I can't.
Yeah, you can't defend that.
I can't defend the Black Mage.
They overtuned the fuck out of Black Mage, and what's gonna fucking stand up to it? What's gonna be like even with Black Mage? Not a goddamn thing. And that day, you see like 100 Black Mages. Like no party was missing a Black Mage. That day, I got on Crystalline Conflict. Not one. You saw it every fucking match. Wonder fucking why. So when you overturn a job like that, you don't bring everything up. Yeah, it's kind of noticeable. And it's kind of noticeable. So when people say, "Oh, Dragoon's in a good place," I mean, it's fucking decent.
I would say that as weeks have gone on, Dragoon has looked like a less appealing option, but it is by far, I think, the most consistent option for anyone who's trying to get into PvP on a melee. Monk, the execution potential, fantastic. Ninja, snowball potential, awesome. Samurai, everyone's afraid to hit you, can completely turn a game around. But Dragoon will, in every single match, be an absolute menace. There is no if they can do this. They are just a menace naturally. It's insane.
Except when they're the only frontliner.
That's even then, Dragoon's probably the best one other than Ninja.
No, you have 4 fucking targets. You have 4 people who are just going to nuke you at range. 4. When you try to go in for anything, boom, target on your back. You are getting murked like in about 5 seconds. You can put guard
that'll
up.
Happen to almost anyone, though. Even if you're not a Dragoon, that'll happen. If a team is really coordinated, you are not surviving. It doesn't matter what job you are. But Dragoon has one of the strongest ranged attacks that's also AoE. It's got decent ranged follow-up in the form of Zerskogel and Nastron. And their limit break is a game changer. It's a game winner. It's a game ender. It's a game turnaround. I would not give Dragoon a stun, but Black Mage, I'll give you this. Black Mage, they went overboard, but Dragoon definitely doesn't need any help.
One thing I would adjust, however, if you're gonna make Sky High, like you are invulnerable, make it so that you are invulnerable.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! How many times have I gotten taken down like the second I go up? By a fucking ninja, by like just anything, by dots. Like you should be invulnerable to dots. You shouldn't be able to be targeted by a fucking ninja. Like anything.
It should interrupt whatever's happening to you. And probably I think the solution to that is to cleanse. They should probably cleanse any debuffs that they have if you want to achieve that. Because that's the same problem you have with guard. You know, you go to guard, but you also lost your whole health bar in the time it took to activate. It's the exact same problem.
Right.
So that's a fundamental PvP issue that I think people are going to be looking at is the activation time of things that are supposed to be in some way be defensive for you. And
monk shit going through fucking guard. That is the most annoying thing.
That's their thing, though.
It's in their kit, and I fucking hate it.
Listen, let me tell you, you'd rather they break you out of guard than they catch you without it. Because if they catch you without it, you're dead. There's no question about it. If they're breaking
you're dead even if they catch you in it.
To be fair, yeah, probably. If there's any follow-up, for certain you're dead. But in a 1v1, if they catch you without guard, you stand no chance after the buffs. In the PvP tournament that I helped co-host with +1, there was a monk in almost every match because it was a guaranteed way to eliminate somebody on the enemy team. So it's and honestly, there are still things I would give to monk. Like as much as that 1v1 that execution potential is there, I don't really see monk. I'd rather monk be a brawler more so than anything else. And they are not they have a lot of health, but they cannot brawl any better. I'd rather like Riddle of Earth. Riddle of Earth is really the only thing I would still adjust on monk. I probably wouldn't touch anything else. It's just it's not very conducive the way that it works. But yeah, they are monsters. Like, yeah, as a Dragoon, when you see a monk go up and one-shot anyone they want, I get it, but a Dragoon can do that in a skilled 1v1 matchup, excluding guard. And then they can also do it to the whole team when they get a good limit break. They come around the corner, they're in the air, enemy team doesn't notice, they're all on the point, bop, done. White Mage LB at the same time, put them in the ground. Every single time. And if you haven't watched the Crystalline Conflict tournament, you see that a lot with Dragoon. You see the AoE combos just instantly turning whole games. So no, they don't deserve a stun, Sly. I'll give you the cleanse on the jump, but not a stun. Not a remote chance in hell. But I am curious what they'll do because Black Mage I think is still overtuned, even after some of the changes that they made. They kept the majority of the buffs that they gave them. If they are overtuned, it's only slightly, though, at this point. It's much different than it was when they were first buffed. And then Red Mage probably still could be knocked down another peg or two. If they're going to knock Dragoon down at all, I can tell you this, if they give you the cleanse, they might hit your shield that comes from your ultimate from Sky High.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them get rid of some of the shield.
I mean, but it's such a short shield, though.
But it's a shield when you've jumped into 4 or 5 people. It's better than not having it. At the very least, I'd rather have the shield than not have it.
Right.
Dragoon also, funny thing, so Paladin was huge in the tournament, but Dragoon was a direct counter to it. Because if you Sky High a Paladin when they cover somebody, they get hit twice and insta-die. There's no way for them to survive without their ultimate.
Right.
So that was a very good Paladin, because Paladin was super rampant for the first couple weeks, and then it stopped. There was only a few Paladins here or there after that, once the counterplay came out. What else? Honestly, I think the range physical, Bard is still doing mostly okay, and Dancer's gotten a little bit more of a place. I think Machinist still feels a little clunky to PvP on. I think, yeah, maybe some changes for Dark Knight. Dark Knight's really good, but it's kind of hard to play. Gunbreaker's very hard to play. Gunbreaker's a monster, but it's so hard to play effectively. So
Reaper still needs Jesus.
No, Reaper's in a pretty good spot now. Since the limit break change, it's on the individual Reaper. If they fuck up their plentiful harvests, it's not good. But Reaper is super annoying. I'd say it's still not as good as the other ones, unless the rest of your team can really capitalize. But it definitely doesn't need Jesus. It's in a much better spot than it was before. Yeah, Dancer riding off the Black Mage buffs is very true. Dancer riding off the Black Mage buffs makes them so much better. Yeah, so there's a few things, but this is going to be interesting. I mean, remember, we normally don't give a shit talking about PvP changes on this show, or as individuals, I think, prior to the next season. But it's a point of discussion, and we know the EU community team is planning a tournament. We haven't heard anything from NA if they're planning one. So again, if there's support for it, and they keep it in the forefront of everyone's minds, then, I think it's got the potential to stick around and be impactful, be content, be actual something people actually look forward to more frequently on a patch update. So I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
We don't know if there's going to be anything else in 6.18. 6.15 fortunately got all those side story quests done, and they were all fantastic. Tataru started off kind of weak, but Hildebrand back in full force, and then some, if you ask me. That was a fucking quest. Holy shit. And then Emelian's
Definitely the highlight.
Yeah, big highlight. Emelian's unfolding. Love her. Big fan. And then Omega, fantastic. Arcus Adaris, I really enjoyed.
Omega was so good. Omega was so good.
I tweeted this the other day, Sly, but they're just going to play Close in the Distance, Flow, and Dynamis every time. They just like, oh, hold on. Oh, you're not crying? We got you. Don't worry. We've got this suction cup called These 3 Songs, and it sucks tears out of your eyes, forces them down your cheeks. What a fucking...
Are we getting any more Omega, or is that pretty much...
That should be the only one. For now.
Crap.
For now. We don't know if they'll never revisit him, but we know that's where he is. It's a nice little epilogue to what happened last time. On the other hand, we know there's more Tataru, and Tataru is going to be visiting a lot of characters. We know that they said pretty much any side raid story you haven't done, you should have done before the new Tataru stuff comes out. Four Lords, Void Arc, the Weapon series, anything and everything you hadn't done, they said to get it done. So, and while it started light, I am expecting to like the future parts a bit more.
Yeah.
So, and then of course there's other things to be excited about with 6.18 and 6.2, but we won't find out about that until just about a week from now. A little bit more. Actually, no, a week from today. Is June 30 days? June's 30 days, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it is a week from today. July 1st is a week from today.
Yep.
Week from today, we will have live letter number 71, which will be our first look at patch 6.2. Now, let's be very clear about something, Sly. It's going to start with 30 minutes of data center travel talk. I think we need to cope with ourselves and come to the conclusion it's going to talk about data center travel for probably 20, 30 minutes.
Depending on the issues.
Well, so it's a few days before data center travel. So they're going to take that opportunity to like refresh everyone on everything.
Now that you mention it. There is a very small chance he may have to delay it. Not by long.
I don't think so. It's good to go.
I think there is a small chance he may have to delay it.
Sly, that's just years and years of waiting for it and just not wanting to accept that it's here.
Remember what we said about early access?
I mean, yeah. But like I said, that's because of years and years of conditioning.
Exactly. Like, so it's just going to be like a couple of weeks. If it happens. Again, not saying it will, but if, a very small fucking if, it'll just be a couple of weeks. So I wouldn't worry too much.
I really wish it wasn't happening at the same time as Savage unlocking. I really wish it wasn't, but it's oof. That's going to be something. But I expect a huge section about it at the very beginning. I think they're going to lead, because they're going to want to talk about 6.18 first. Like, hey, 6.18's in a few days. Here's what's happening. We may even find out some other things that we didn't know. They'll probably say Savage is unlocking. This is happening. That is happening. Blah, 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 blah. But data center travel is definitely going to get a rehash like we tend to do right before something comes out. But it's the 6.2 stuff. Now, while 6.1 is classically kind of a lull because it's a lot of very quick to complete content, unless you're doing ultimate or you have some goals that you're still catching up on from 6.0. Point 2 and onward are the patches where we look to long form content for the game. Now that comes in many, many different forms. Short term, main story, side quests, Tataru, Hildebrand. We know they'll be returning. We know we'll be getting them. Another tribal quest, probably in 0.25 again. We know that we'll be getting a new Pandemonium normal tier, a new Pandemonium savage tier. And that's the first thing to touch on. We were told back in 5.38-ish at a live letter that they had received a lot of feedback to delay Savage from normal every single patch. And they acknowledged they had received that feedback, but that the earliest we would see it, if they decided to do it, would be 6.2. Do you think we see the delay between normal and Savage for 6.2?
Yeah.
That's a very confident yes.
Yeah. I can't see why not.
I'm not as confident as you.
Why not?
I think they're going to have determined that there's not enough benefits for it. I genuinely think they're going to find that it doesn't make sense in their overall patch schedule to do it, no matter how much the people who want to do both are. Now, I will say this. I have another reason as to why I want them to do it now.
Okay.
Originally, I wanted to do it so I didn't have to skip through story. I wanted to be a story Andy and a savage Andy. I just wanted to do it at different times.
Right.
And I think now with data center travel, that's more important. I'm less likely to level an alt to do MSQ or do like Pandemonium normal raids on a second character because I had to skip through them on the first. But it's also, bro, I'm still tired from DSR. I just need another 2 weeks. Okay. I just fucking, please. I just need another 2 fucking weeks. Okay. That's it. And I honestly think if Ultimate's always going to be 2 to 2 weeks delayed after the odd numbered patches, this should also just be 2 weeks delayed. I think it's just a good idea to delay that content because otherwise there's this 2 week closer gap between the previous Ultimate and the next Savage, and then a 2 week wider gap between Savage and the next Ultimate. Quite frankly, I'd rather have a more equal gap between every single hardcore raid. And then again, into 0.4, I honestly still don't feel confident we're getting an Ultimate in 0.3. I think they're going to see how fucking exhausted people were from DSR and be like, maybe finish it, but wait a little bit. Because that's, you know, fucking exhausting it's going to be. Savage, Ultimate, Savage, Ultimate, Savage. Like, don't get me wrong. We want that, but we're also like, it cannot be like DSR. You did
ask for it. Like, to be fair, you did ask for it.
Listen, but that was before we did DSR. DSR was like nothing we've ever done before. It was a fucking like 20. It was just like UCOB, but like a billion times, not worse. Worse isn't the right word, but in terms of exhaustion, it's a billion times more exhausting. So it's just, it's a lot, and people are still working on it now, and they're already, if they think about the next Savage tier, they haven't even finished Ultimate yet, and they're like, oh, perfect, see you in Savage in 6 weeks. They don't even want to fucking see each other anymore. They're like, I like you as a person, but I don't want to fucking be on a call with you doing this fight for at least a week and a half, okay? And then even after that, it just... Every time I tune into a stream, you can like feel the strain that it's having on every individual who's present. So I think the 2 week delay would really help with that, you know? That's to my point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope they do it. I really, really hope they do it.
But you don't think they will?
I don't think they will. There's just something in my gut that says they're not going to do it. I don't even think they're going to acknowledge that they said what they said. That they had heard. I think they're just going to say they come out on the same day and just move on. But please don't release them on the same day.
I mean, they have to see that y'all are tired. Y'all are tired.
Yeah, dude, we're tired, man. Like, we want the next raid tier. Don't get me wrong. But maybe just 2 more weeks. That's it. So that's the next big thing for Endgame. Item level increase, new weekly capped tomestones. You know, we expect they'll kind of rattle through things like that. Maybe a new custom delivery, new like little side quest things. But 6.2 is on a lot of people's radar because there's 3 things happening in that patch. 3 very major things that are happening. The first is Island Sanctuary. Again, probably 6.25 or, you know, something like that. But it's slated for that. And I know for some people it's like, oh, it's just Slice of Life, it's Stardew Valley Light or Animal Crossing Light, but the problem is we don't know anything about it yet. And so people have set all of these expectations about what it should be, what it will be. Oh, I don't have to worry about not getting a house. I'll have my own island soon. It may not be a suitable replacement for that. I don't think it will be, personally. So
you're getting a shack.
You
were getting
shack.
You were getting a fucking shack. You better expect that. Don't expect the fucking mansion or any fucking like replacement housing. Bitch, you were getting a shack.
I just don't even think it's going to be remotely similar to housing in terms of why you do it in the first place.
I mean, what the expectation? I think what they said was that we could visit people's islands, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you get the shack. I
think of it this way. If it was possible to have every single person have an instance version of something that resembled a house, we'd have had it for the fucking housing system years ago.
Right.
So why would I think this is that? It doesn't make any sense. Yoshida himself said it's not housing. Stop. That's not what it is.
Yeah, you're just going to have a bunch of fucking fields, everything, little critters roaming, whatnot, with a shack. It's not going to be like a medium-sized hell. Like, I think it's a step below the fucking small.
I don't think it'll be a step below the small. I just don't think you can compare it. It's for me. I don't even think that it's like comparing it to each other. I just don't even think that I don't think it's going to be customizable in that way. I don't think it's going to be like grab your housing items and bring them over to your island. The island's going to have its own things in place that you do on the island. Yeah.
I think it's set. It's set already. Like, there may be stuff you could put in your shack, but it's not like customizable like a house. It's like you can't change the floor plan, you can't like increase size and whatnot. It's not like a legitimate plot. It's set to where you can make it as comfortable as you want, but that's pretty much the end all be all. Like, it's really, I think the key feature of the island is the island itself, you being able to, plants and things like that. It's environment, not the house itself. It's not going to be a replacement for housing. I mean, you could probably sleep there if you want to. You could log out there, for all I care, but it's still not going to be housing.
No. And that actually raises a pretty interesting question, because when we learn what it is, it informs us about one of the future updates slated for it. You got to remember, we got a roadmap, a general roadmap all the way through Endwalker already. And 6.4 and 6.5, one of the updates listed is a new island for Island Sanctuary. Now, is that all the same content, but it's a different island layout so you can customize it differently? Is it something that is functionally different than the first island? Those are things that we don't know and will need to be informed
and
on.
I hate to kind of compare it to, housing wards. Like, it's gonna be an island like in Kugane, or it's gonna be an island like in,
like it could literally just be all the same things, but it could be an island that has foliage and whatnot that's native to the Far East or native to the North or something like that.
Right.
I think that's a fair thing to assume that it would be. I just wonder.
But I just hate to make that comparison though, because like the end all be all is that we always go back to housing, and it's not housing.
Right. And I think this is something they need to answer more than Criterion Dungeons. I'm more interested in Criterion Dungeons, but same. I think Island Sanctuary is the content that the largest base in Final Fantasy wants to know more about. And I think that means it needs to be front and center in the part 1 live letter and not the part 2 live letter. It's too important, I think. Even if this doesn't do well, it will have a more major impact. We will see more Reddit posts and forum posts about this if it doesn't do what people want it to do, which, let's be frank, even if it's good, it probably still doesn't do what they want it to do. It's going to be a rampant point of discussion. And so they really got to knock it out the park with this one, or you're going to have a lot of more casual players not having a good time. On the flip side, are you gonna have a club party on your island at some point? You're gonna do an island party
in the shack.
Well, I mean, the whole island. You could, if they give you enough customization, maybe you can make an island party.
No, I wouldn't. No,
you wouldn't do an island party for.
I would not do. I mean, it depends on what the island looks like. I mean,
a barbecue?
You're gonna have fields and stuff.
Do an in-game barbecue at there, like you could just go in-game and then also toss, throw your smoker out in the back and then, cook up some meats and whatnot.
When we get smokers, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Nah.
It's gonna be like Fire Festival. That's funny. That's really funny.
Oh god, that's funny because it's so fucking relevant.
Fire Festival.
Yeah, nah, probably not. Probably not.
I have a feeling you're gonna change your mind, even if it's not what people think it will be. I think you'll end up wanting to do that at some point. Yeah, you want to be around your minions. Yeah, then you have minions all around the party too. Everyone's dancing with the penguins.
Minions take up space.
They do.
So if you want a lot of people, you better tell people to put away their minions.
Well, no, you can put minions that roam around the island. Like your minions, you can like set loose. It's not like they follow you like normal. It's like, oh, I'm gonna put my Epkalu there, and next to it, I'm gonna put the bluebird or something. I don't know. All minions and Lalas must be desummoned for proper party etiquette.
Yeah.
Oh, the campfire minion's actually gonna be really good to put down there, huh? It's literally campfire minion, perfect for the island. Oh man, I might actually need to collect some minions. We'll see. Because I went ham on Animal Crossing, so if they give me some decent customization, I'm gonna have a pretty swag island. And then I'll never go there, but it'll be pretty swag. Okay. Okay, so that's big point number 1 is Island Sanctuary. Big point number 2 is Criterion Dungeons.
Yeah.
New style of content designed for 1 to 4 players. It scales dynamically, and that is all we fucking know.
That's why I'm interested.
I don't know where to go with that. It's not deep dungeon, mind you. It's not deep dungeon.
But they did say, again, going back to my interview, he did say we were getting deep
dungeons in point 3. It's on the roadmap.
Yeah,
that's point 3. We are getting one.
He did promise.
Yeah, no, it's even in the official roadmap that they put out a few months ago, or like 6 months ago. At this point.
But yeah, it seems interesting. It seems like there won't be enough of it. It seems like there won't be enough of the content to say like really judge it. I mean, we can judge it off of what we get, but it's only going to be one Criterion dungeon.
The question is, what the fuck is a Criterion? Because maybe it is. Because I think we're used to thinking about dungeons.
Yeah. And so my whole issue is that, if you were introducing this, you kind of have to give us a little bit of variety, because we can't really base our judgment off of one dungeon, and that's our, content. The thing with, I hate to compare it to Deep Dungeon, but the thing with Deep Dungeon is kind of an evolving thing. It's one dungeon, but fuck, it's an evolving thing. Whereas this, if it is like a really, really difficult dungeon that, adjusts to you, fine, great. Just give us at least like 2 or 3. Like, if you're like, I could honestly see them, if this were an ongoing thing, I could honestly see them, maybe if we did get 3 or multiple.
Well,
I could honestly see them adding it as a.
We are getting one in 6.4 and 6.5 also. So we know that for a fact.
So, okay, so then that kind of like really.
Yeah.
That really boils it down to we're probably just getting one, which again is kind of sad. For this to be, I don't want to call it filler content, but again, it is. If we're only getting one, if we're only getting one of it, I mean, you're really gonna beat it to death. I mean, unless the reward structure around it is good to the point where it makes you, it incentivizes repeating it like weekly. Sure, sure, maybe.
Sly,
but we need to see more.
Sly,
what's up?
You know what the third point is?
What's up?
The relic weapon, because that is also in point 2, which happens to be the same patch as Criterion Dungeons. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Nah, they're not connected.
I don't think that's a coincidence, Sly.
I don't think they're connected.
I very much
I don't think they're connected. Okay, if they're connected, it is one aspect of it. It is one
It is
aspect,
a choice. I completely agree with that. Mm-hmm.
But I think that's it. Like it's like something you can do for it. Like it's one of the steps.
Yes,
in the road.
Absolutely. But that's where I'm drawing my predictions for Criterion. There is no mention of an exploration zone in any of the roadmaps, which leads me to believe the Criterion dungeon is somewhat of an equivalent, where it is a 1 to 4 player large piece of content that has scaling difficulty depending on how many people you go in with. I think it's going to some degree feel like an exploration zone in some ways or other. I think it's going to have wonky affixes or, special skills that you can only use inside of it, stuff we've become accustomed to in Eureka at Bozja, but specifically made so that it's future-proofed. Something Bozja is still struggling with now. Something Eureka, technically, as much as it's doable mostly alone because of the changes they've made, still technically struggles with. I think this is the answer to that long-term problem, as opposed to making another 24, 48, 72-man zone or raid or anything like that. That's what I think Criterion is going to turn out to be. And that's why there's no exploration zone. Because got to remember, if there's no exploration zone, that's a lot of visual resource, a lot of technical resource that is not in anything that we can see or that we can discern at a glance, except that. So I think it's an exploration dungeon.
I don't like the sound of it. Honestly, when you say exploration dungeon, it just seems so small scale. Whereas where we think of the exploration zone, we think of something large or something with notorious mobs and things like that. Whereas this is just...
I think all that stuff is still going to be in there.
God, it seems so small of a scale, though. I mean, like, a dungeon is a linear. When we typically think of a dungeon, we think of a point A to Z type deal. It's linear.
Never call a dungeon long enough to get to Z. No, none of 14 dungeons are long enough to get to the end of the alphabet. Not a chance.
But you know what I mean. Like it's linear. It's linear. Like there's no real. It doesn't give you really any options. We don't see a lot of options in our dungeons, and so that's what I think when you say exploratory dungeon, there better be some fucking options. Like there better be like alternate routes. There better be. I think of it if it's gonna work like that, I think it's gonna be kind of like a flow chart. And whenever I think of a flow chart, I mean I kind of hate to compare it, but Uznair, Excitatron,
the treasure dungeons.
Treasure dungeons. They're like flow chart type deals where you go down this path, like shit will change for that like for the rest of the path. Like you make a decision and then it'll, keep, branching off until you get to the end.
I don't think there's an end. That's the thing. I think that because, and this is what I was alluding to earlier, I think that because 14 does the word dungeon a very specific way, that is not classic MMO dungeon. Classic MMO dungeon is you enter and there is a final boss, or there is, there are multiple paths, but there's usually, a pathway here that leads to something extra, a pathway there that leads to something extra. This is optional, that, or you can just blitz through if there's only one thing that you really want to do. I think of that open-endedness that's more traditional to older MMOs, modernized. Now, not as egregious or tedious as maybe an old school RPG dungeon would be, but that more that than you enter, you go to the end, and it's done. I don't think it's going to be structured like the way that they've used the word dungeon, like anything in the past. That being said, these are all predictions, and I'm not holding myself to any of them. I just need to have some idea of what to expect because it's more fun.
Yeah, we need more information. We'll see.
I hope it's good. And the big thing is, for me, if Relic and Criterion are related in any capacity, like, for example, it's the primary method of earning the Relic, and then the alternate methods are, fates or tomes or whatever, like we had with the previous ones. It would mean that this would be a Relic quest that actually had content in the first patch, which we did not have in Shadowbringers, where it was an hour of a cool quest, don't get me wrong, and it came with an extreme trial that was unrelated to the Relic, to the resistance weapon. But I would like to have the Relic and content to earn the Relics in the 0.2 patch, 0.25, realistically. And on top of that,
more than likely it'll all be there.
Yeah. I would like it
to all be there.
Yeah. And then 0.3 doesn't have a Criterion dungeon, so either there's something else they're planning on doing, or they're planning on tying it into the Deep Dungeon. One of the steps is probably going to have to do with the new Deep Dungeon. So, I'm not saying it's going to be like the main thing, but I think it'd be pretty cool. Because Criterion, I can't be the only one who thinks Criterion is the Loprits, right? I can't be the only one who thinks Criterion is Loprit related.
I wouldn't. That thought never crossed my mind, but now that you mention it, yeah, it's a possibility.
It screams like Excitatron, Criterion, like it screams Loprits to me.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. God knows I love him, especially my boy No Fucking Way. But I'm kind of off the Loprits right now.
Well, yeah, What, you didn't like it when tweeting way? That was so good. Whoever thought of doing that, very good social media management.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with the Loprits, to be honest.
I'm not. Well, so funny thing about that, Sly. We were told that one event in the MSQ in 6.1 was actually a tease of more treasure dungeons that we're going to be getting. And that
of course they're going to be Loprit based.
But it's not even just that. It's just not just doing the roulette wheel, which is the other one we're expecting getting. They said we might expect something else. Might get my Plinko finally. Give me my fucking Plinko dungeon, please. I want the Plinko treasure dungeon so bad. I think whatever this is, it is a manifestation of something the Loprits have done.
Yeah.
And I think that it's going to result, again, I think the weapon is going to be also from the Loprits. Our resistance weapon will be, our relic weapon will be from the Loprits. I think the Loprits are going to, this is what they're going to do with the Loprits for a while.
How do we go from Eureka to Bajja to Loprits?
Because the fucking moon, Sly. You got to remember that with Smileton, they accidentally, the machine went rampant and, drilled way too much shit that they now just have available. We've seen Smileton, have parts that move around and teleport you and shit. It's perfect to just start shoving shit in there.
I don't know. I'm just done with the Loporrits.
They're going to be moon relics.
They're cute.
Cheese relics.
They're cute, but God.
Eat my weapon, have to go make
The Gobbies
another
had
one.
their chance. The Gobbies had their chance. They didn't do it.
Yeah, but that's because the recipe was stolen.
Yeah.
Carrot relics. Oh my God. The consumables are all going to be carrots. You know how we had like potions and what were the potions called in Bozja again? There was a few different ones. There was
resistance potions.
No, the essences. I think they were called essences or something. The perma buffs that you could get when you were in there. It's been so long I don't remember I don't remember the names. You know, you had like potion that would give you like a buff for the whole duration. And then essences, deep essences. Then you had the they're all gonna be fucking carrots. It makes too much sense. It's all carrots. It's always been carrots. It has to be now. It's carrot time. Sorry, banana phone. It's carrot time.
Great.
So, those are the big things we expect to hear about from the next live letter. I'm sure there are other details in there. The new series rewards as well, something we hope to see.
Yes.
We will be coming to the end of Series 1 for PvP and entering Series 2. I really think they should change the fucking name because I'm tired of explaining the difference between a season and a fucking series to people. I'm really tired of it. And this is all their fault. It's all the localization's fault. I don't know if they're called the same thing in Japanese. I think they are. I think it's consistent. But they need to they need to pick a different name. They just don't want to call them a battle pass, so they want to call them something else so they don't come with that stigma.
Yeah.
But series isn't doing it. It's really not. Everyone's like, oh shit, I have to get my armor before season 2 begins. It's like, no, that's season 1 isn't the battle pass. That's the series 1. Series 1 ends 6.2. Season 2 is just for your rank. Like, oh, times 1,000. Kill me. Kill me. If you do miss Series 1 stuff, it will be available for trophy crystals for an entire patch cycle as well. So if you didn't get the armor in 6.1, you should be able to get it with trophy crystals until 6.3. So don't worry too much if you're a latecomer, if you don't finish it. At least that's what they said. They will probably clarify on that. Maybe not in this live letter, but the next one.
I think it was pretty clear when they explained all of it, honestly. So it's going to cycle out. What's going to happen is just going to cycle out.
Yeah.
You're going to cycle it in the next patch and then cycle it out and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, it's pretty clear. So
I hope the next one has a mount.
Probably not.
No! Give it to me,
Probably
Sly. Give it to me.
I hate to burst your bubble. It's more glam. All the glam.
It's always, to be fair,
the glam.
A mount is glam.
Don't try to get around it with logistics. It's
dude.
glam.
The Criterion mount's going to be a giant carrot. It's going to be a giant flying carrot. I can't wait. It's going to be so good. For series rewards, it's too early, Sly. For series rewards, do you think they're going to...
happy hour.
Are you in the boat that you think they're going to recycle or reskin the old top 100 feast mounts? Some people are really stuck whether or not they think they're going to do that.
No, there'll be new mounts.
I think so too. I think they're going to... So that's, if, like I said, a reskin, maybe I wouldn't be too surprised because Unreal has a reskin of a top... Actually, no, it's not a reskin of a top 100
You mean faux hollows?
Yeah, no, that's a reskin of a PvP achievement mount. Yeah, so that's a bit different. I would be still kind of surprised because like people want what are the mounts? There's the Dreadnought was the most recent one. There's the Dread Dogs, whatever the fuck they're called, the Dreadhounds or something. There's Aulus's chair. That's a big one. A lot of people want Aulus's chair. And I can't remember the other ones. The other ones, I guess I don't really care about. The Roadster. Yeah, the Final Fantasy VI Roadster enemy was another one. That one, I think, if any of them gets reskinned and re-released, it's the Roadster. Because that has a bunch of different colors in Final Fantasy VI, depending on which enemy skin you fight. The Roadster is the one I think they will do too. If they do it, it's, yeah. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised now if they reskin the Roadster in 6.2. But I know the people who did top 100 in Feast, they want to hold on to those unique rewards, which is why, again, I think they'll do reskin. I don't think they'll re-release any of the old ones, the top 100 rewards. I think those will always be exclusive. Chat wants Bahamut Prime. No, Bahamut Prime needs to be the ultimate mount when they release it. One of every totem, get 5 totems. Yeah, when 6.3s comes out, one of all 5 totems get the golden Bahamut mount. Or release Blue Mage for ultimate, you fucking cowards, and then make it from that. Do you think Blue Mage is going to show up in the live letter? I don't think it shows up in the 6.2 live letter.
6.3.
I think 6.4. I don't think they'll wait all the way till 6.5. I think they'll do 6.45 for Blue Mage. Last update we got was 5.25, I think. Which is why people are wondering, because then 6.25. Yeah. Which is, that's logical. So, I don't know. I don't think it will. I don't think it'll show. And definitely no Beastmaster.
Stop it.
Chat.
No Puppet Master, no Beastmaster.
Okay, well, Puppet Master, let's talk about that.
Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it.
I
no.
mean, but
no.
You could.
No.
But then you add the, and then you subtract the PEMDAS. Yeah. And then add the barbecue sauce.
No.
Okay. No. Okay. It's okay. Got it. Okay. Is there anything else?
Go play 11.
I have. I kept up on the story. There's nothing else for me right now. So, is there anything else? Oh, our trial series. I don't think they're going to tell us in this live letter what our trial series is. I think they're going to.
I think they do.
I mean,
not in this live letter, but I think leading up to the,
Well, yeah, leading up to, but not in this live letter. I think in the next one after that.
Yeah. We finally, they tease it. I think they tease it, at least.
Do you think it'll be MSQ? The trial series? Do you think they'll take the opportunity to do that this time? Given what we're predicting it'll be, it kind of makes sense.
Possibly.
I think it's a reasonable guess. I wouldn't shut the idea down. I don't think it will be. I think it's exactly what we think it is. And
you're still going with the 4 fiends.
Yes.
One's going to be combo fight.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No. One.
So
one's going to be a. It's not going to be a combo fight. It's going to be. I wouldn't call the G Warrior a throwaway fight. I wouldn't call Sapphire a throwaway fight, but it essentially was. So it's one of them is going to be something like that. If we do get 4 fiends.
So here's the thing. So there's multiple reasons, and chat's already bringing it up. They beat me to it, of course. We were told in a recent interview a lot more Final Fantasy IV is coming in Endwalker. There's nothing more Final Fantasy IV than Golbez and the 4 Archfiends.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, it is not a question of which series it is. I think it is a question of MSQ or not. I think they could better serve these characters in the MSQ. Because the series of events in Final Fantasy IV is, let's see if I can remember the order here. Scarmiglione attacks you first. Then you find Cagnazzo in the castle when you return. Then you find, the name's Barbarisha. Barbarisha's next. You find her in the Tower of Zot. I can't remember if it's Zot or Babel. It hasn't been that long since I played either. Right after you fight.
Zot.
Yeah, I think it's Zot, because it's right after you fight the Calcabrinas is when you fight Barbarisha. And then you fight Rubicante. Oh, yeah, because Rubicante is Tower of Babel. Yeah, that's true. And then they all come back and rematch you, and then you fight Golbez. That's the order of things. I don't think there's any way that they satisfy that kind of... And I'm not saying they have to go by this plot line, but I think that they're going to want to.
we're not gonna get the like rematch battle royale that we're thinking.
I think we will, but I think the rematch is actually going to be a solo instance. I think all 4 of them are going to be trials, all 4 of the fiends, but I think the rematch. I mean, that's what we were supposed to get with
We were supposed to get something like that for whatchamacallit, Horyu. We were expecting to get like Horyu as a fucking fight, like in the whatchamacallit series, and we never, like, we just got a cutscene.
That's saving it for the ultimate.
Saving Horyu for an ultimate? God damn it.
I mean, it's gonna happen. Let's be fucking real. There's definitely gonna be Koryu. I also think when we do eventually get Koryu in ultimate, it's not going to be the last phase. I think Koryu is going to become like a golden Shinryu, because Koryu and Shinryu are essentially Koryu, Kirin, Shinryu. They're all kind of similar-ish. Koryu is more like a horse dragon. Kirin more like a horse dragon. But I think they're going to go the route of making Koryu look like Shinryu at some point. And it's going to be like a golden Shinryu of some kind. We'll see. But I think they kind of need to service this in the MSQ because of what's implied with Golbez. He's Golbez. I don't think they want to relegate him to a side story. And B, my theory about Golbez forces him into the MSQ in that, Sly Golbez is very, very well known for having a pet void dragon. And we seem to be looking for one.
I'm aware. I've been aware where this is going for a while.
And we are definitely in search of a dragon in the void at the moment.
Right.
So I think that's going to be a pretty major thing that happens. So if for my prediction to come true, Golbez, well, technically, I mean, the MSQ doesn't have to keep following that. It could be that the whole Xenos avatar thing, the void scent that he was attached to as a Reaper, could be that we just follow that as the MSQ and this branches off to side story. Totally possible, but that's not my prediction at the moment. So I kind of think they have to be MSQ. But the big thing is that I feel like they deliberately didn't voice any characters in that cutscene because it's side quest. Like, that Golbez scene is not voiced at all.
Right.
And that, to me, screams side story. It just does. That's, like, why the fuck would you voice everything else in the patch except that scene? Unless they just said, if we didn't have time, fuck it. Just don't do it. It'll confuse the shit out of them.
That's a possibility. It's always a possibility.
It's a possibility. Maybe they decided they didn't know what they wanted to sound like yet. Also, who knows?
Yeah.
But that screams side story to me, as much as I don't want it to be. So sorry, everyone. Think it's gonna be side story, as much as I want it to be MSQ. And I think that's it for 6.2 predictions for live letter. There's got to be something else, but nothing I can think of off the top of my head. Just seeing new armor, new housing items, the usual.
Yeah, the usual.
I can tell you this, though. I'm already looking forward to 6.3 for the next 24 man. It's nice to have one after a few years of not having one. It's really nice.
A
lot of people think that what is it? Laymin and I can't remember. Laymin is Limza. Who's Gridania again? Who's their patron deity? Nafika? Is it Nafika? I think it's Nafika. I think people think Laymin and Nafika are going to be the last bosses of the next ones, because we had the Ul'dah finale with Naldal. Not a bad idea, but I still think Ashan is the monkey, to be fair. But I think he'll play some sort of role in that at some point.
Yeah.
With that, Sly, I think we're ready to wrap up this State of the Realm, unless there's something you feel that we've forgotten.
I think we've covered pretty much everything that we can for now. again, we'll find out everything next Friday.
Yeah, and then we'll be doing a show about it that same day. So that should be a fun time. Well, with that, thanks for welcoming back State of the Realm. Sorry we were gone for a while, but as you can tell,
we missed y'all.
We missed y'all. Maybe couldn't tell that, but you could definitely tell we have some shows on the way.
Yeah.
So with that, Sly, it's good to see you, pal. We'll play
Good to see you
Trail on House of the Hill again at some point.
Yes, we
and
will.
Mario Party and Trivial Pursuit.
Oh my God.
But in the meantime, why don't you tell everyone what you're working on right now?
Well, you can find me on twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox. You can find me on Twitter at Sly the Fox. Couple things. Well, today, the Nirvana Initiative came out, so I'll be playing that until Allure. And then Allure tonight on Primal is having a Pride weekend. Now, I will say this. I always usually tell you to go to Allure, but I'm telling you more so than ever if you're on Primal. Go to Allure tonight. There's going to be, there's a thing. There's a thing happening tonight and tomorrow that might reference other things. Can't say what, but you'll have to go to Allure and find out. Maybe order a drink. I'll say that. Maybe order a drink. But yeah, of course, Station WSLI, news coming this coming week, actually. This coming week. So go to Allure. Go to Allure tonight. Order a drink. And then next week, we crashed the ward again.
You'll crash it for sure after data center travel. If not before, after. Then definitely after.
Definitely after. And then, of course, before that, Sunbreak. Hunts.
Hunt. A hunter must hunt.
A hunter must hunt. Oh, wait, did you do the demo? Get your Malzeno kill?
Yep.
Cool.
Took about
interesting monster.
3 or 4 tries to get it down.
Yeah.
Wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
I went with my classic hammer, of course. I just had to get used to those instant bullshits.
Yeah, I went with American. I went with American Lance. I fucking love Gun Lance right now. It is so fucking fun.
I'm not a big fan of the new hammer skills, to be honest. Not as exciting as I would have liked. I like the dash more than the wire.
There's some fuckery you can do. There's a little bit of fuckery you can do with the hammer. Like, it seems like I'm even thinking about picking it up and trying, because there's some fuckery I've seen that you can do.
Oh yeah, no, you can do some fun stuff with it, but I don't like the wire bug buff that much. It's a little too cumbersome. It's 60 seconds of buff, but it's a little cumbersome to maintain, I feel like. So that's essentially all you do is you just swap on the buff and then you just fucking swap back. Unless you really like Water Strike, which I like it, but I'm not fucking going to try to use it. Let me tell you. Water Strike, not my specialty. Let's just put it that way. Despite Sword and Shield being something I do spend a lot of time on. And Destroyer Oil has the same kind of issue where it's kind of tedious to upkeep, but very, very good.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, that's what's going on with me. Please look forward to things. Hi. We'd love to have you. Happy, what's going on with you? What you doing?
You can find me, Mr. Happy, everywhere just talking about 16. All these fucking interviews. How many?
Just horny for fucking Garuda. My God.
Yo,
Keep it in your goddamn pants.
I got the
My God.
I got the pin right
here.
So,
I saw.
Yeah, see? This they sent it to me. I was like, hey, if you ever sell those, let me know. And they're like, I'm gonna send you one. And I was like, how much do you want? And they're like, just take it. And I'm like, I will give you money eventually. You can't stop it forever. So this was a nice little gift to receive. They had this made in like 2 hours after the friggin' trailer. Artists are way too skilled. I can't even comprehend the talent. I literally cannot comprehend it. Thank you, Clinkors, for this as well. apparently, I'm very much not in tune with the artist community because I don't regularly partake in said things, but they do very good work. And a lot of people knew who they were instantly. Like, oh yeah, I got this from them and that. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know they were like that. I just saw it and I really liked it. Oh, it's so good. And wait till y'all see the Final Fantasy count up art. Y'all ain't ready for the artwork I had commissioned for Final Fantasy count up, which I'll probably be beginning next month, even though it's in the heart of a few other releases. And it's quite early before 16 comes out. We have so many goals, and I figure with other releases in between, it will probably end up lasting all the way through. Because I remember, when did we start count up? Well, I say we, I mean Morag, Slack, and myself. When did we actually start count up before everything? Count up, I gotta just find the first upload. Because we did it in like the middle of the summer even. And it took us a long time to get through it. And that was with, July 25th we began. And that ran pretty much all the way through to November. And that was with no side titles, no incentives, less games, less shit like randomizers, like specific other mods that we're going to be running, other incentives. I might even do a 100% trophy incentive. So I have to get every trophy on every game, which kind of sucks if they don't release Pixel Remaster in time, because I would have to go back and do all of them again after they do Pixel Remaster on console, which, for fuck's sake, Square, just release Pixel Remasters on console. Come on. I don't have a reason to do them again, and I still want it. I did all that already. So, work with me here. Square, work with me. Anyway, I will also be uploading every playthrough to a separate YouTube channel, not my main one, because it's going to flood my main YouTube channel. But there's also Xenoblade 3. There's Champions of the Continent from Octopath. I'm sure there are others, patch 6.2. There's a bunch of other things that are going to release. Crisis Core Reunion will have released by then, in the middle of the marathon and everything, which honestly I don't think is till beginning of next year. They say this winter, but this winter is also early 2023. I think people tend to forget that. So we got a lot of stuff planned, but the artwork's going to blow your fucking minds. It's blowing my mind. That's what you can find me doing. 7 videos on Final Fantasy 16 and more to come, probably, in the last week. Oh, boy. What a time. Anyway, and Sunbreak. I'll be on Sunbreak. You know it's Sly. PC Sunbreak, too. Yeah. I'm ready for PC Sunbreak.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
PC Sunbreak. Let's fucking go, boys.
It only took me 50 hours to get all caught up to the PC version with all my Valstrax armor and like 2 or 3 completed builds. It was a good time. All set. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to a short post show, and we will be back next week with Live Letter number 71. Thank you again to SteelSeries for sponsoring. If you want to check out any of their new stuff, ! SteelSeries in the chat. Use the discount code Mr. Happy, save 12% now. And thank you to our sponsors over on Patreon as well. With that, we sign off, and we'll see you next week. For real this time. Until then, bye-bye.
Take care. See you next week.